Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today I'm gonna be taking a look at the Varus top build. So this is the funky kind of top build that some of the Varuses are using. I'm not sure if that's still the case. Yeah, it actually is still kind of the case, but it looks like the last two items have changed a little bit into AP. But yeah, general idea is still kind of the same. So let's hop straight into it. So first up, we're gonna start off with the Gluttonous Greaves. Now this obviously gives you AD and Omnivamp, and considering this Varus build is kind of mixed damage, this is of course gonna be a very good thing. And then next up we're gonna go for Essence Reaver. Essence Reaver of course is a core item on Lethality Varus, and it's just a very good Varus item in general. I think Varus is one of the only champions in the game that can actually make use of Essence Reaver well. And that's of course because it gives you decent stats, 40 AD and 20 ability haste, but the main part you want is the part where it increases your damage of your ability, which in this case is mainly going to be your arrow that you want to increase the damage of, and it's also going to restore missing mana on hit, which is going to be useful because Varus uses a lot of mana. So second item is actually going to be Triforce. So Triforce is just a very strong item in general, gives you all the good stats, health for more survivability, of course you get a little bit of attack speed and attack damage as well. You get 25 ability haste, which is almost the maximum amount you can get from one item. Maximum of course is 30, and you of course also get the Spell Blade passive. Now honestly I believe that the Triforce is honestly more for the stats than the actual Spell Blade, because you're not always in instances where you can easily proc Spell Blade, but there are of course circumstances where you can proc Spell Blade multiple times if you're kind of close enough. So this is also going to be very good. Now it kind of changes when you get into the Riftmaker, because this build is kind of a, like, you cast a few abilities and you go out, so it's like, kind of like a bursty kind of build, because you do want to quickly just proc Phase Rush, run away, and use your ability haste to spam your arrows. And then Riftmaker is where it kind of changes a little bit, because with Riftmaker, of course, other than giving you again a good stat line, it gives you Omnivamp, which again is going to help with healing, but it also gives you the, when you get like 3 seconds in combat to get 3 stacks, you're going to deal some true damage. So obviously this means you're going to have to be in combat for some time. It doesn't mean you have to be fighting people constantly though. It means that, you know, if you launch your like second or third arrow, it's going to do more damage, and it's also going to heal you, so it's just really good. So now the last two items is kind of where it gets a little bit weird. And as you guys can see, the top players now are actually going for Death Cap and Infinity Orb as the last two items. This of course is going to transition the build into an AP version of Varus, which is of course then going to burst people down even more easily when you hit your ult or when you get your stacks on. But what it used to be when I copied the top build, it used to be Twin Guard into GA. So now I don't agree with the GA at all. We'll talk about that one a little bit later. But the Twin Guard I can kind of see. Now the thing about Varus is that at this point you already have kind of enough damage, and you don't really need a lot more damage. So a lot of what the top Varuses like to do is they like to go into Twin Guard just to get more survivability. Now do I think this is really amazing? It's not amazing. Is it horrible? Nah, it's not horrible. It's kind of just okay, or like maybe good, but definitely not great. So you get double resistances, which in this case you actually have like 250 health from here and 150 health from here. So you actually have like a 400 bonus health, and so that's gonna help out with your overall tankiness together with the resistances, which is of course going to proc after a good while in combat and just make you more tanky. You will see that in the gameplay later on. But your last item, you want to go for some item that's probably not GA. So some suggestions I have is, of course, you can go for Mole Reminder just for the Armor Pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. You also get Crit, which is of course going to increase your Essence Reaver damage. Into Heavy AP Maw is really good here. A lot of AD as well as Magic Resist. And Shield Bow is just really good for anti-burst, just because it's going to give you that huge shield. Because at this time you're going to be level 15, and by then you will get the maximum value shield. So for the runes, it's actually going to be Phase Rush, and Phase Rush does help in two ways. Number one, you get movement speed to run away. Most of the time you're running away, you're normally not running towards. And number two, which is the main reason you're going for this, is to get the ability haste. Now the ability haste, 20% of your remaining ability cooldowns is actually quite useful on Varus, because Varus, like QW and E cooldown, is short but not short enough, and it's long but not that long. So getting that extra 20% cooldown is actually very helpful to get your abilities up more quickly and get off another rotation. So that's always going to be good. Now of course Brutal, because you auto attack, seeing as you're an ADC, Giant Slayer is still the highest value rune here, and because we don't really have a lot of attack speed in our build, Alacrity is going to come in real handy. And of course we have Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities, and we have Flash together with Ghost majority of the time, just for the extra mobility. Of course you can also go for the exhaust if you need it. But with that said, now let's jump into our gameplay and check out how this top build actually works. Okay, so now we're jumping into the gameplay itself, and you guys know my opinion on Varus. You guys have probably seen, or hopefully you guys have seen the tier list video. Of course, check it out if you haven't, but for my last couple of tier lists, I've always ranked Varus as the best ADC. Now, why? Well, he has really good damage, of course. He has really good utility with his huge teamfight route. He's really good against tanks with his percent, HP on his W. And he has really long range with his Q, and he's pretty much untouchable if you hit people with Q and they can't hit you back. And also, he can pretty much build anything he wants. You can build Varus, of course, full lethality. You can build him full on hit. You can build him full crit. You can build him full AP. You can build him full tank, which I have done in at least 2 of my videos before. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just check out those videos. And of course, this literally means you can build almost anything in the game. You can build tank items, you can build, crit items, you can build on-hit items, you can build magic damage items, you can build, pretty much anything, literally. And this also means you can combine, all of these items together. Like, for example, you can build, you can start off with on-hit, and then you can go into AP. You can start off with lethality, and then go into crit, or whatnot. But essentially, you have the most build freedom out of any champion, literally, in the game, in my opinion. I don't think there's anyone with any more build diversity than Varus. And this, of course, leads to situations where you have a lot of weird builds for Varus, like this one, for example. I'm personally not a huge fan of getting Triforce on Varus myself, but I did notice that Triforce on Varus is actually pretty popular. And of course, I did test it out, like in this game, for example, and I do think it's pretty decent. So, again, he can kind of build literally almost anything. And this build, I have tested it out a while. I didn't get the main idea of it at first. I thought it was maybe like those kind of builds that you have to stay in combat for a long time, which is not exactly wrong because you do need to proc items like the Riftmaker. But this is the kind of build where you want to go in for a quick little short trade or slash a short burst, and then you just want to back out with the phase rush and wait for cooldowns again, going for another short burst. So it's going to look something like this. Let's say you E auto to proc Spellblade, then let's say you W auto and then Q, something like that, and auto to proc Spellblade. This is not really a very short trade, but what I'm trying to get at here is that you can do very, very short trades. You don't have to stand there and auto attack non-stop, like as if you're playing like the on-hit build, or you're playing like a crit build, or that kind of deal. So it's a little bit of a mix between building like the Wits End build, not Wits End, the on-hit build, I mean, and a little bit of a mix between that and the AP build, where AP you just walk in, burst someone, and walk out. Where this one is kind of you walk in, auto-attack people a little bit, burst them a little bit, and then walk out. So you also have some aspects of the lethality build in here, because in a situation where you cannot walk up at all, you can actually just stay at long range with the Essence Reaver and just poke people down with your arrow. So this is why I think this build is probably one of the best builds. As in, that's why the top players are using it, is kind of more of what I mean. Here, we burst down the Zyra, and down she goes. We unfortunately whiffed the ulti on the Ezreal, which might have killed him, but we don't quite get it. Ezreal, no, getting bursted down by Seraphine. Boom, we get the snipe, and he does end up going down. Probably can get a plate before we back. Yeah, so that's why I think this build is kind of used by all the top players, because you do have the poke aspect of Varus with the Essence Reaver, the burst aspect as well, and you also have the anti-tank kind of aspect with the help of Riftmaker and things like that. Yeah, here Twist of Fate is ulting in, gold cards on top of me. Unfortunately for him, Seraphine is here to shield me. I'm actually put really low. I proc Phase Rush, and you can see I used the Phase Rush to run away. If I had any other rune other than Phase Rush there, I would have died. And here I actually get the snipe onto the Twisted Fate, but unfortunately he doesn't die. Yeah, so Phase Rush there coming in clutch. So I guess that's also one of the reasons why the top players are going for Phase Rush. Like with this build, you could of course go for the newly buffed the newly buffed Lethal Tempo. You could of course go for Conquer. You could go for PTA, but I can see why Phase Rush is really valuable. Just getting cooldowns back more quickly and just getting that bonus movement speed is, of course, really, really strong. However, one small gripe I have with this build is that as Ezreal gets caught here into my ulti, into a auto attack, into death. One of the small gripes I have with this build is that Phase Rush is really hard for most players to use. Now, Phase Rush is a rune that is pure utility. It gives you no damage whatsoever. It gives you ability haste and movement speed. Now, these kind of things are very utility focused, like especially the movement speed. So a lot of people don't know how to use Phase Rush properly, and it's not easy to use Phase Rush very well. You have to really actively try to use Phase Rush properly, and you have to, of course, you know, just be good at, you know, making use of the movement speed and the ability haste in general. So especially if you're a little bit more inexperienced, I think probably going for a full-on damage rune is just going to be better than going for phase rush. But when you get a little bit more used to Varus as a champion and such, you know, maybe you can try the phase rush and see if it's to your liking, because really phase rush is not easy to use. I myself sometimes forget I have phase rush and end up not actually using it very well for the movement speed. But yeah, so if you actively want to use phase rush, you can put yourself in situations that are more dangerous, like just now when Twisted Fate ulted onto me. I knew with 3 hits, I would be able to get the movement speed and get out. So I actually just hit him 3 times, get the movement speed, and just ran away. And he wasn't able to kill me because I had phase rush. So phase rush allows you to do a lot of things that you couldn't without the phase rush, but at the same time, it's really hard to use. Varus damage in lane is insane. I think Varus is actually one of the strongest laning champions. It's not strong in the sense like a Callista, for example, but he's strong because a lot of people underestimate his damage. Like if you get a full 3 stack onto someone and then you just get an arrow on them, they're pretty much just gonna die instantly. Now, the root actually transfers to the Ezreal and actually managed to proc the Blight stacks. And here he actually flashes. He's at 1 HP somewhere. I have Flash and Ghost, so I'm definitely going to get the kill here, but I decide to instead just get the snipe off. Just that Fate it runs away on 1 HP as well. There's where I pop my Flash and Ghost to kill him. And at this point, I'm 6-0-1, incredibly fed at this point. Yeah, you know, happy days for us. We are getting really fed off of just killing, you know, literally almost everybody here. And yeah, we killed Master Yi, we killed Twisted Fate, you know, bot lane obviously we have killed. Viego, of course, is their top laner, which is a little bit of a strange one, of course, but honestly, Viego is strong enough to be played in other lanes, other than the jungle, of course, because Viego is a really, really strong champion, so he can be played in other lanes as well, just that obviously jungle is going to be his best role. I think that doesn't really need to be said, but yeah, so here right now, back in the lane. Not really very much that any team can do. If they overstep, they can get caught. Unfortunately, I launched my ult in between the goalposts. I'm taking a ton of damage. I kind of need to back off a little bit. I'm trying to look for an arrow. I get the arrow onto Zyra, which does more than half of her health. Should have probably given Seraphine some fruit there, but I kind of panic and take all of the fruit. And yeah, so his Varus damage is just really, really nutty. Is kind of the situation here. So. Here we pretty much are relatively healthy off of getting the fruit and such. So here Ezreal is making a little bit of a mistake, oversteps quite a bit. He has 2 stacks on him already. I'm trying to snipe him down. Boom! He dies off of the Seraphine CC as well, of course, to keep him still so I can guarantee my arrow hitting. And down he goes. Now Twisted Fate ulting again. Actually comes up here. I have my ulti, so he's just gonna die. I'm not sure why he decided to ult onto me. Like it's not like I was 1 HP. And Zyra was clearly not ready for the follow-up here, so it just turns out to be a situation where he ults to give me an extra kill, which gives me enough gold for my Triforce. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna head back out now. Now, honestly, at this point, I have 8 kills in 8 minutes, and I'm not gonna say the game is unlosable, because this game is actually very losable, because I don't exactly have a lot of peel. Like Morgana and Seraphine are really good peelers, but they don't have any like point and click CC, so Master Yi can dodge it, you know, if he Qs at the correct time, things like that. And of course, Master Yi is always going to be a threat to immobile ADC like Varus. Of course, Twisted Fate stun card into a Zyra combo or you know, something else like that can easily kill me, so we want to be very cautious, but of course we're going to be very difficult to kill, just based on the fact we have so much damage. Like if anyone tries to kill us, they're going to have to deal with our damage first. And here we're just taking the Skull Crab, just taking the ward. A little bit of a skirmish was happening down there, but we obviously can't get there in time, so we're just going to get what we can and you know, call it a day. So here, speaking of getting what we can, we see the enemy blue buff. Obviously we want to deny them that blue buff. I'm just going to grab it. Of course, and honestly, any one of the 3 of us grabbing it will be good. The 2 mages with blue buff is amazing. Varus with blue buff is amazing as well. Like the ability haste and the mana is just insane. Here when the next mid wave comes, I'm pretty much going to be able to one-shot the wave. Of course, one of the strengths of having the Essence Reaver is the ability to kind of just one-shot the wave. I'm going to go for the Raptors next. Of course, wanting to maintain my farm up. Morgana has rotated over to the top to go with Seraphine to my lane, and now I am on the mid wave. And honestly, here Seraphine has a wrong rotation. Obviously, Seraphine should be with the ADC, which is of course me, and the mid laner should go to side lane, which is the general normal rotation after you take the top lane tower, because ADC support always good to rotate, to stay in mid to rotate around the map more easily. So now, I'm pretty sure the Viego saw us here, so I'm not sure why he's not running away more quickly. He does get out eventually, but Seraphine is getting chased a little bit by the Master Yi. Tower is pretty low, so we're actually just going to go for the tower. Twisted tries to walk up with the stun card, but realizes his mistake and immediately runs away, because obviously he's just going to get ulted by me, and he's going to just get one shot if he tries to do that. So here Garen is actually taking a ton of free damage for no reason from literally the entire enemy team. We're not actually just gonna back off, because there's no real reason to pick a fight here with the enemy team. Morgana is getting off a split push and looks like she can get the tier 2 tower. In the meanwhile, Ezreal dies to the Darius, and obviously our team is in a really solid spot. We have over 10k gold lead in 10 minutes, so we're at a really good spot. Obviously, I make up 6k or 5k of that 10k gold lead over the Ezreal, so there is that. But Morgana has a decent lead. Darius has a very decent lead as well, and Garen has a pretty okay lead as well. So our whole team is kind of ahead. This is kind of a dream situation where you are just winning straight up. Next dragon is up. Obviously, you being this ahead, we can't be giving the enemy team a dragon. No way, no way. So here we are gonna come and contest the dragon. Warding over the wall, check if anything's going on. Just popping the blast plant, ensuring the enemy team cannot just come over easily. For some reason, Morgana back shields me when there's no one even nearby, but we're able to actually pick up the dragon here without the help of our jungler. Now we're gonna go to top lane and pick up the farm. Push up the wave as well. We're now 3 full items with the Twin Guard, and as you guys can see, in this particular game, it's not a very bad Twin Guard game, because at this point in time, we are like 5k gold ahead of the Ezreal, and yeah, and like we're 4k gold ahead of anyone else on the enemy team. We're so far ahead that that's literally a Twin Guard amount of gold kind of difference. So we're 1 item up on everybody else in the game. So here is a good time to actually go for Twin Guard, because we're so ahead that we don't actually need to buy more damage. Like, buying survivability is actually good for us, because we just need to not die, and we do enough damage anyway. So here having a Twin Guard is going to be good, which is why I'm actually going to be going for that, as per what the top guy was building at the time that I played this game. So here, Master Yi gets caught by a binding, eats a ton of damage, and yeah, Twisted Fate trying to clear the wave. He doesn't really have the best wave clear. I'm going to try to arrow him down. He actually runs away in fear. Now Zyra is coming in from the side. Master Yi as well as Viego are going on to the Garen at the side. Garen unfortunately dies. I'm trying to see if I can catch them out here. So I'm just going to walk straight up to the Viego. Viego of course runs away, and we're not quite able to get anything. Zyra actually gets a root onto me. I'm going to flash out of her ult just in case you know, there's anyone else that can follow up. Turns out it actually wasn't, so I could have taken it on the chin, but obviously that's not an advisable thing to do when you have flash up and can just escape the ulti. So enemy team is kind of getting into a fight with us. Darius actually gets a kill, gets the reset, gets another kill, gets the reset again. And yeah, we're just going to auto attack down Viego. He's, yeah, and Master Yi also dies. So everybody dies here. It's Baron time. Or I am pinging for Baron, but obviously my jungle is more interested in pushing mid and trying to kill the Twisted Fate. And yeah, I'm not sure why we're not just taking a free Baron. Like, why not just get the free Baron? And Darius nearly dies here. So instead, it looks like we're gonna go for a mid inhib. I'm just getting the Twin Guard components, which in this case I'm getting the Negatron cloak first. Of course, because Zyra and Twisted Fate honestly are the main problems here. Master Yi and Viego have not been able to attack me at all. And Ezreal does like no damage at this point. So magic resist is a little bit more important at this stage. So I built that first. Now I'm here pushing out the lane, getting my farm, as well as ensuring that there's a pressure point here. Now for some reason my Garen is going in 1v5 and is going to die. I'm thinking of taking the Hex Gate here, but I realized that that's going to put me in a very awkward position, so I can't take the Hex Gate. I'm going to have to walk down there manually. And in the meanwhile, my Darius is getting his face kicked in. I have no sums, so I can't take the Hex Gate and flash away or anything like that, so I have to walk the safe way. Darius already dies, and now we're in a situation where the enemy team can actually go for Baron, because they are 5 alive and we are 2 dead, including the jungle. So obviously they are doing the Baron. I get the root down, finish off their jungler, which is the Master Yi. And then we're going to go for the Viego. Viego is actually really tanky. We take a long time to actually kill him, which we finally do. And we can see Zyra on the other side of the map. Twisted Fate is in mid lane. So honestly, I think Baron is still doable with the 3 of us. But we're just going to play it safe and not actually do the Baron. Instead, just going to go ahead and clear the minions. And yeah, honestly, Twisted Fate ults. But if he ults anywhere near me, I'm just going to kill him instantly. So I'm not scared of him whatsoever. I have QSS at this point, so even less reason to be scared of him. I can just cleanse away the CC. Same goes for Zyra, who not only has Rylai's, but also, of course, has a root. So I'm ready, if any kind of, rogue CC just comes flying in. So again, just keeping the wave pushed is what we're doing. That's the name of the game. And the last dragon is coming up. This is going to be Infernal Soul for my team, so I, of course, want to be there. I actually get the Twin Guard completion, which is a huge completion before the dragon is up. And we're going to run straight to the dragon in a jiffy. And of course, we're going to try to secure it. Now, issue is that once again, my jungle is on the wrong side of the map. So if Master Yi decides to just come here, he's going to be able to just get a steal. Of course, we're going to pop the Blast Plant to prevent that from happening. Master Yi is on the wrong side of the map, so it looks like it's going to be a free one for us. Darius is resetting. Honestly, this Darius as a jungler is kind of useless. Thankfully, we're so ahead that it doesn't actually matter. I'm able to get the soul. Twisted Fate out comes in so he can see where all of us are at this point, but none of us are in a very compromising position or anything like that, so we are absolutely fine. Here, honestly, we're so far ahead that we could straight up just do the Baron and start the Baron, and the enemy team would be forced to contest, or just give the Baron to us. And either way, we're going to be in even more advantageous state than what we already are. So here we're forcing the mid lane in here, which I think there's kind of no real point to doing that. I get rooted by Zyra. I don't pop the QSS because there's no threat of me dying, especially with my Twin Guard already proccing. Twisted Fate tries to stun. Stuns Garen instead on me, but nice Black Shield by Morgana, so he wouldn't have been able to actually stun me. Seraphine out goes in, but hits absolutely nobody. Now I'm just frontlining here with the Twin Guard in hand and just auto-attacking whoever I can. And also shooting the arrow at whoever I can. Unfortunately, arrow does not connect. Morgana picks up a double. Darius is caught in no man's land. Master Yi, yeah, I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He dies. Zyra in a little bit of a pickle as well. Only the enemy bot lane is left alive, and me and Morgana can't really do very much against them, so we're just actually going to walk away. But on our way out, of course, I'm just going to go for the jungle monsters. Just to deny the enemy team a farm. We actually leave one wolf there, which actually makes the jungle camp not respawn, so I guess it's even more farm denied to the enemy team. Now we reset, and here you can see I'm actually going to go for the Executioner's Calling. Of course, the reason for that, decent healing throughout the whole team. We have Viego, who has his passive, as well as his Divine Thunder. Master Yi with the Bork. Ezreal probably has some kind of healing, like the Gluttonous Greaves, and probably maybe he has Bloodline. Might have that, so a lot of healing on the enemy team, and of course going into eventually what is going to be the Molar Minder for the Armor Pen is always going to be good. Now Elder Dragon is now up. We are ready to grab it. Of course, enemy team is not all alive as well. Ezreal comes over to check. They can see the hell. Zyra on the wrong side of the map. Darius is not here with us as well, by the way. So here I'm just trying to secure the Elder, which we do. Now, enemy goes for a Baron trait, which is interesting because I don't think that the Baron is really good. Now, Darius runs face first into the entire enemy team, and he dies. Seraphine actually flashes in for the ulti. I'm popping the Ghost. I'm trying to go in here. The enemy team does get the Baron, I believe. And, yeah, we get the Elder, so we are going to just kill them all. Only Zyra is left alive. They do get the Baron, but they're going to lose the game. We have a mid-wave about to crash into the enemy team. Zyra cannot do anything about it. She has actually decent wave here, but she can't clear this entire wave. So at this point, we are just going to end the game. Like so. Zyra tries to step up for some reason. I'm just going to murder her, I guess. There we go. Elder procs, and she dies. Minion wave has vanished, so Morgana unfortunately gets executed. I guess we found a little bit more minions for the stats, and then we can just end the game flashing forward just for fun. And I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye